think that it's first and foremost important to extend my gratitude to each of you all for showing up. A lot of times, even having the conversation uh, about what does healing look like. Having the conversation about like what does hurt look like, about having the conversation about how to continue going forward in your journey, right? And what that looks like can be sometimes really, really scary, really, really scary, really, really scary. And you know what? It's also absolutely okay to not want to figure out all of these different things, right? And so one of the things that we wanted to do was create a space where we started to present things in a way that felt good and authentic to us and just healthy, right? And so that's the goal. At any rate, a few things that I want to go over before I get into my talk. And again, thank y'all so much. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces and to see my people that are all here. So thank y'all so very much for joining on today. Thank you so much. So, so very much. Now, I want to go over a few things with you all. I want to first state that this is not a therapy group or a therapy session. This is a space that is created intentionally for you. As we talk about this journey in healing, as we talk about this reality that healing has options. I want for you all to remember to do this really important thing that's called breathing. I also ask that you remember to know that it is absolutely okay to step away. It is absolutely okay to step away if that's what you need to do. Michael just put some stuff in the comment section for how to prepare for this virtual event. So I'm glad that you all asked. Some of the things that I think that you all would need to do from a physical perspective is having a comfortable chair, somewhere that you can be comfortable in sitting, having plenty of water. Hello, somebody. Drink up, drink up, drink up. I also think that it's important for those of us that need little snacks and things of that nature to have those with us, a quote unquote healthy snack. Also, fidget toys, anything that makes you feel good in this moment as you sit and listen. I'm going to be doing some talking. Some other folks are going to be doing some talking. You're going to hear us talking, but always continue to focus in on you. So remember to keep yourself in mind as we go through this. We're not going to go too deep, hopefully. But again, I just ask that you all continue to keep yourself in mind as we go through this. Now, as far as the practice is concerned, some of you all, I've seen names that I know that follow me. So some of you all will probably know some of these practices in which I've done before. I'm just going to expand on them a little bit during this session. This session will run for about an hour, hour and a half tops. I don't even think we're going to go for an hour and a half, but I think we're going to definitely go for the hour. So if you all are able to stay, please do. If not, this is also going to be recorded, so you all will be able to find this again at another time. Now, doing the practices, what I think that you would need to prepare yourself, I think that you should go and get you a bottle of water. If you don't have a bottle of water, then just go get a cup of water. That is totally okay. Totally fine. What I suggest that you do is that if you're going to get you a cup, get you 2 cups, okay? If you're just going to go get a cup of water, get you 2 cups. And you don't have to. You can totally just use the 1 cup or the 1 bottle of water. But the practice will involve us taking the water from here and pouring it into here. And I promise you, if you don't have 2 cups of water or a bottle and an empty cup, that is totally fine. We will definitely make this work. I say drink water because water is really good for us, our bodies, especially as we are talking about healing. It actually does more than just quenches our thirst, right? Water is really, really good, but you can do this with anything that you have. I do not suggest that you do this with liquor because liquor also would dehydrate you. But whatever feels good for you, because you're grown and you're the one in charge, and this is all about you. This is all about you. So Water. I ask that you get your water. And then for those that do have a that do happen to have this, I ask that you do it as well. Grab yourself a candle. If you have a candle, grab a candle. I'm going to talk a little bit about the candle and some of the importance that there is to it, especially as we go through this journey of healing. And also, again, remembering that healing has options and it doesn't look the same for everyone and it doesn't have to. That's the joy in it. Now, I think I've gone through those things. For those of you that are doing that are places or hard of hearing, and that's somewhere where it's really, really loud, you may want to put on some headsets. That way you can actually hear clearly and be able to do so. We also are offering ASL for those who would like to go over there if that's needed for you. Now, I think I've gone through a lot of the first part, right? The next part is that I have some amazing folks that are going to be joining me on today. What I wanted to do was extend the option for them to be able to introduce themselves, say a little bit about themselves. You all will also hear from DeKhari, who is a mental health professional, and he will come on when it's time for his portion of this conversation, and he will introduce himself and let you all know a little bit about him as he goes into what he'll be providing for you all. So let's see. Is 2 a.m. Ricky, if you would like to come off mute and introduce yourself, please do. If not, that's absolutely okay.
So, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I am 2 a.m. Ricky. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a recording artist, songwriter, and I'm an advocate for all things mental health and wellness, especially for trans masculine communities. I recently put out an album called Listen If You're Lonely, and it's based around mental health for trans masculine folks. So, I'm excited to be here with you all, excited to heal with you all, and connect with everyone. Thank you, Dee Dee and Forrest, for having me.
Thank you for being here, 2 a.m. Ricky, baby. I was supposed to sit there and talk about the Grammys, but we'll come back to that at another point in time. But thank you again, 2 a.m. Ricky, for being here. You're greatly appreciated. And we do see you. I see you. So thank you. We also have Trinity, who is here, a poet, an artist, an amazing individual also. Trinity, if you would like to take yourself off of mute and introduce yourself, please do so. If not, it's absolutely okay.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? My name is Trinity Sapphire. I am a spoken word artist and slam competitor here in Chicago. And what I do is just say the unspoken for a part of a community that really don't know how to express themselves or really don't know how to present an outlet for real. That's why I'm here. And I'm excited to share my gifts with you all tonight. And thank you, Dee Dee, for even thinking of me and my gifts to be able to come and bless the people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you. Just as soon as you came on camera and I seen you, it was a gift. So I appreciate it. So thank you again so much for being here, Trinity. Thank you for being here, 2 a.m. Ricky. Y'all, baby, listen. I don't know what y'all are doing, but I'm drinking my water, okay? See, listen, I done went out here, I done got married, I done had cheering, okay? I done sit here, I gotta be sitting up, I'm up in here hot, okay? I am listening to drink my water, and I'm gonna drink my water from the red cup because it makes me think about back in the day when I used to go to the club and party. See, again, remembering something, healing has options. This right here is doing something for me right now just because I can remember the experience and the joy that it brought me when I had the chance to be in the club, dropping it like it's hot, shaking it fast, and wasn't nothing shaking, okay? Listen, every time that you all hear me say that healing has options, I want you to really, really understand that it is specifically for you, that these options have nothing to do with how anyone else thinks, whatever they may tell you. This is all about you and what feels good to you. Listen, for those of us that have a different lived experience, a different type of presentation, For those of us who don't identify as the norm, quote unquote, or did not be forced to conform, quote unquote, right? We seen something before we even had it. We seen something before we even stepped into it. We seen something before we even got to that place of recognizing who it was that we seen. And so what I want to again remind us is that whenever we say that healing has options, those options are going to look different for so many of us. For so many of us. You see how I just brought up the fact that this red cup just brings me the most joy. I think about being at family gatherings and they would give us these red cups. I think about, listen, let me tell you something, because I ain't working for nobody right now, so I ain't gonna get fired for this. This reminds me of when I worked at the call center. See, somebody know what I'm talking about that's following me. When I worked at the call center, and inside of these cups, they gave us these cups, and it sure wasn't just juice. Hello, somebody. And it sure wasn't just water. It was a little something extra up in here. Again, those days brought me joy. It wasn't because I got drunk. It was because I was able to do something in that moment. And right now, those memories, those thoughts, those times, they just feel so good. Do I want to go back to them? Absolutely not, child. I do not want to go back to another call center. But this is giving me joy just for me, right? Just for me. And again, understand something. This is not going to give, it probably won't give anyone else the same joy that it is giving me in this right now moment, right? But guess what? I want you all to really get this. I want you to really grasp this, that no one else matters when I'm talking about my joy. No one else has to matter when we're talking about my healing and the options and what that looks like. Okay? We have to sometimes step away from everybody else and everything else so that way we can look at ourselves and start to be able to figure out what feels good for me. What feels good for me? And sometimes it's just some memories. Some memories really feel good to me. And sometimes those same memories can bring up triggers and remind me of traumatic situations and things that I have been through and gone through. And then I'm also reminded about the reality that I have actually went through it, meaning I have now arrived where I'm at, right? So although those things may have been triggering and traumatic, just the reality of knowing that I got through it really, 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 really means a lot to me. Anyway, I done went on a whole tangent about a red cup, y'all. Listen at me. So let me tell you. So on today, we're coming together just to be able to create and hold a space that is a sacred space. If you got people that, you have some folks that will tell you, this is how you have to do it. My goal is not to tell you, this is how you have to do it. What my goal is that I can reach inside of you and flip this light switch on, just so that way you can know. See, for some of us that believe in God, that was this moment that the second that you were born, that everything stopped. Nobody else mattered. No, not the person who gave birth to you, not the person that may have been birthing you, not the person that may have been nothing, and no one else mattered the second that you were born. If this is what we believe, that God stopped time and blew the breath of life into you, nobody else mattered at that moment when that happened, right? And if we believe in the universe, we believe that the day that we were born, that the universe said that you deserve for the grass to be a little bit greener on the other side. And see, for those of us that may just believe within ourselves and nothing else other than spirit, we had to know that whenever spirit was created, that spirit was with us and mind and is us. So therefore, you is spirit. And that's the greatest thing ever. That is the greatest thing ever. So as we go through all of these things, and as we look at all of these things, the most important part is realizing that the only person that mattered in that moment when it comes down to your healing is you. I will always talk about how much joy my children bring me and how even changing a poopy diaper brings me joy, right? And it's a healing thing for me. The reality is that I still have to do that work for me, not for them, but for me because of them, right? Because I want to be able to show up as my best self. So sometimes we have to take ourselves away from our partners, from our parents, from our loved ones, from our children, hell, from the dog and the cat, because we want to make sure that we are our best selves for them. And if we want to be our best selves for ourselves, right, that's exactly what we're doing for everyone else. And the reality is again, that no one else matters. But listen, when we work on ourselves to go through our journey in healing, it will always hit different. It will always hit different. It will always hit different. All that I'm here to do is to remind us that healing has options. And I want to remind us in ways of simple stuff. So like I told you all to get your bottle of water and get a cup, because we're going to pour into that cup the same way that we pour into other people. Sometimes our cups be empty. We are pouring into folks nothing but air. Nothing but air. And we want and we need to be able to have our thirst quenched just as well. Who's pouring into us? But let me remind you of something. Do you know that the second that you took your first breath, that the second that you made your first decision, that you had the power and the ability to do all of those things? Simply drinking water. With you in mind, don't nobody else matter. Don't nobody else. You're literally just drinking a little bit of water, but you're doing something for yourself. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what it's like to reignite our flames by utilizing a candle. We're going to talk about what it's like to just sit with oneself in meditation. Again, this is a safe space. And I want for you to know that you must do whatever it is that feels good to you. So what my goal is during this time for me is that I would love to expand your thoughts on healing. I would love to expand your thoughts on healing. I would love to challenge us to all see the value in your I am. I want us to see the value in that. Do you know that each and every time, that the second that you walk and your foot steps over that threshold of your door, that the second that you do that, you have committed a revolutionary act by showing up as yourself. But not even one word has to come out of your mouth. Just you alone are just that amazing for that act to take place. Also, again, we'll offer a few things that I think will be good for each and every one of us, because it's already things that we're doing. It's already things that we're doing. Listen, I will say this so many times. It's not about me and how I do it. It's about you and how you do it. All I'm here to do is to remind you that the light bill has been paid, baby. Let's flip this light switch on. Hello, somebody. Hello. You get what I'm saying? Because you already got this. This is what you already are doing. Each and every time you stop and you take a breath, you're breathing right now. Even if it's unconsciously, you are breathing right now. And guess what? I just ask that you stop. Don't even worry about looking at me and figuring it out. Just go to a place that feels good to you and just take a few breaths. See, in this right now moment, that is something that you have control of, right? I'm a person who has asthma. I'm a person who caught COVID at one point in time. Being able to breathe is an amazing thing, even whenever my lungs are doing what my lungs can be doing. Healing has options. Healing has options. When we drink this water, we are doing something that is doing something for our bodies, right? So why not do it just a little bit differently? In the morning when you get up and you go run and get your coffee, that's great. Drink your coffee, baby, but take a second. Stop what you're doing. Hell with everything else that's going on in the world. Listen, one of the biggest issues that I have is that people think that whenever we're going through our healing journey, that everything that's going on out there is supposed to work, is supposed to heal too and change too. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Baby, if you fit to drink your coffee, you're going to still have to drink your coffee, go to work, do whatever it is that you got to do. You still have your routine. But if you believe in God and God stopped time for you, if the universe sit there and said, you know what, baby, so-and-so is on their way. We need to make sure that they can know that if they just look over the horizon, that the grass can be greener just on the other side of that. That whenever spirit said that you is spirit, that spirit said, you know what, listen, that spirit is one thing. And with that in mind, you are so great and so amazing that you too is the same exact thing. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you all the way up here and you're the president of the United States, or if you're the person that is the fry cook at McDonald's, honey, guess what? You still just as great as anybody else, because guess what? None of them matter. It's all about you. And as we continue to go on this journey, you all will hear me talk about this journey. We have to sometimes walk alone on this journey. But again, we have all the tools in which we need to do it. So what the goal is with the gathering is that we be able to come together and we gather. We gather in a space that feels good and safe to us. And on tonight, what the goal will be is that we have a moment where we're able to reconnect with our bodies, to see our power and what we already have in us. See, me, I like to touch myself sometimes, not just because I want to be touched, but because this right here is unbelievable. This right here is what people told me that I could not be. This right here is me wholly. See, I don't mind touching me. See, sometimes I squeeze myself because I need to be reminded that I am already being held, because that's what I believe in. Sometimes I have to do this because I need a shoulder, and sometimes this is the only shoulder that I can lean on. So understand something. This is all about you. 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 Because you deserve this. You deserve to know that healing has options, and it doesn't have to look like what the options are to everyone else. You also need to know and deserve to know that you got this and you can do it. Listen, if the bill is due tomorrow, just because you're working on healing does not mean that that bill is not due tomorrow. That bill is still due. Life is still lifing. But how about just the reality of knowing that you can work on you, because everything else is doing everything else. But what about you? What about this important being that is there? What about you? And knowing that you deserve these options of healing and that you're already doing it. So again, the goal is to just remind us of what we already have. Hopefully to flip that light switch on, to reconnect us with the body, because some of us have disconnected from the body and we can't start our process in healing because we're disconnected from the body. So hopefully we're able to do something on today where we can switch on this light, or we can start this reminder of like this right here, this is everything. And this right here is the I am. This right here is the I am. So I encourage you to take as much as you can from this. For those of you who like to write things down, please grab a journal. For those of you who will take notes from your phone, please do so. For those of you that just listen, that just want to just sit in a space and don't want to do a damn thing, just want to sit here and be able to be present and not have to do no work, but just want to listen to the voices in which you will hear. I invite you to do that. Because again, if healing has options, I shouldn't be trying to tell you how to make them options work. I just want to make sure that you know that those options are available. Now, again, this is not therapy. This is not an emotional support group. This is a space that just should serve as a reminder that you are the great I am, because I am the great I am, and that healing has options and that it's all about you. As we get ready to begin everything, I want for you all to be able to hear from an amazing individual. And she's going to speak some truth to power in a way, in a way that makes me smile. I remember hearing her speak at an event where I did a crowning at, and just to see her standing there as herself, as her whole self, it really felt good to hear her spit, which for those of you that may not know is to hear her recite her poetry or to do her spoken word. Really, really felt good. And see, on tonight, I want you all to hear from Trinity on what it is that she has to say. You see, this piece that she has is one that resonated with me because I felt like it was something that we needed to hear. That you know what, that you needed to, because I've heard it, that you need to hear. And I think that in this space is something that we should be listening to. So I'm inviting you all, for those of you that need to, go grab your water, do all that you need to do. Get yourselves prepared, because after Trinity spits, we will have the amazing DeKhari Dixon will come in, and we will start this process of the connection. DeKhari is going to talk to you all about somatics, and he's going to do what it is that he does, and he too is absolutely amazing. So I'm surrounded by amazing folks, you all, and I hope that you all are able to get something from this. So I'm going to prepare myself to step back, and I'm going to ask that Trinity steps up and does what Trinity does. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trinity Sapphire, and I came to spit a couple of pieces for you all tonight to bring you into my world, to bring you into my journey. And if you find that you could take something away from that, gratitude and blessings to you, okay? This first piece that I'm going to perform for you all is entitled TSA. I have a question for you. No, more like an opinion. I mean, I have a secret. No, I really mean I have a confession. No, I really mean more like a self-proclaimed secret confession. Okay, fuck it. I'm trans, you see. But wait, before you do that awkward cisgender thing or the pointing, giggling, or whispering, let me just say, I ain't choose this life, it chose me. I spent many nights trying to figure out why in the hell you picked me, this feeling. It's not something that comes to you in a dream. Some would blame it on environmental inequality or even bad parental control on technology. See, really, it's neither. It's more of an intuition of, I look at me every day and I just know this ain't the body God scoped it to me. See, now that's the kiki. I ain't choose this life, it chose me. And it's crazy because now I too know why a caged bird sings. And everybody wants to know what the T is. It's this T and that T and his T and her T, your T and my T, the LGB. tea. Drink up and don't forget to add just a little hint of sugar. Mwah. Make it real sweet for you. See, the presence of its essence feeds the soul like Mama's Sunday dinner. It enters the ears like words of wisdom. It saturates the mind to demonetize what has been compartmentalized into what we call behavior. See, the real tea is it's 67,108,863 alphabetic combinations we can make, and yet we go back to the T and the S, better known as the TS. If my beautiful Black trans skin is a crime, you put me ahead of the line, set it off like a HU. Let them do their worst for. I too know why a caged bird sings, and just like that bird, shackle my feet, bruise my ribs, leave me when my blood broken feathers hit the freedoms of my prisons rejoice. Break me, beat me, but you can't stop my voice. Skin me alive, make a shoe like Yeezy or a fast leather jacket sponsored by Gucci. I don't care if you feel me, I feel me. I don't care if you love me, I love me. I don't care about your misgender mistakes or how long it takes for you to get used to it. What about the bullshit I'm used to it? Waste on my back, I build them up, break them down just like you do. So drink up. Nobody likes cold tea. And don't forget to add just a little hint of sugar. Mwah. Make it real sweet for you. It's kind of hard to decipher the reasons why I write. Decipher the reasons why I choose to put my healing in my pen and not choose to be a menace. So when I speak, don't tell me that it's too overbearing. When I speak, don't tell me that I should have let this go or this happened so long ago. When I speak, it's not to condemn you. It's not to condemn me. It's not to point to fingers. It's not to place the blame when I speak. See, I choose to put my writing and my healing in my pen instead of be a menace. God, it's me again. I'm stretching myself so humbly. The sky propels, my crown propels to the sky of your good graces, and my arms began to lift and my fingertips widen. The demands of your sublime praises begin to roll off my tongue, Father. I hope you could hear this, for my praises are beginning to become innovated. It's always give and take, yet somehow I still end up with the take, but I keep going, keep praying, because you said do not be terrified. You said do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever I go. Words so dear, but me so little, because you must not love me, right? You must not keep me beside green pastures, and your still waters turn into tides of what feels like never-ending waves of conflicting otter and mental highs and lows. My stomach turns and twists and succumbs to an emotional illness, for the Lord your God is with me wherever I go, whatever, however, it's what happened to me, wherever your God was with me. But I keep praying, keep fasting, keep going, because you have heard my cries and seen my tears. Heard my prayers too. Yet my tears turn into rivers with infinite streams, and anxiety boats sail the currents of my brain for what feels like the equivalent of 40 days and 40 nights. I fight to keep my head afloat, to not return back to the dark abyss. Father, it's me coming to you, being the most humbling, despite life not being the most humbling. I continue to rejoice in you and give you my graces. And she said unto her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your suffering. Sincerely, a Sinner's Creed. Thank you all. That is my time. I am Trinity Sapphire. If you like any material that you heard, you can find me on Instagram at I_am_Trinity Sapphire, and also on TikTok at Trinity Sapphire the Poetess. Thank you all.
Good evening, good afternoon to everyone. My name is DeKhari, and I am grateful to be here with you all tonight. What powerful words from Trinity. As we gather into this space, thank you to Dee Dee Watters and your team for having me here. I am a mental health therapist here in the Midwest. A little bit about myself. I have been working in the mental health sector for about 7 years now. And my experience stems back to working in the prison, in the maximum security prison, with inmates who were in need of severe mental health treatment plans. So I have a lot of experience with working with a lot of chronic care, a lot of suicidal ideations, a lot of self-injury, that sort of thing, decompensation. And so now, as I continue in my career, I have really embraced the unique power of somatic therapy. And that is the gift that I am bringing to you all tonight. So when we say somatic therapy, what does that really mean? Well, we think about we are, as human beings, made of mind, body, and soul, right? And so for the therapy world, anytime we hear therapy, we know immediately that we're going to be working through some emotions. So everyone's pretty familiar with talk therapy. This is usually where, an individual with their practitioner, mental health professional, they just kind of talk it out. So when we say, I love this theme of healing has options, right? Healing can show up in therapy via talking things out. It can also show up in therapy via us really feeling, or what we call clinically somatic experiencing. This is where we allow ourselves to slow down in our processing and to really sit with what is coming up for me in this now moment. This time of year, the holidays, it's very common for us to kind of get into the hustle and bustle just with the times, right? Gotta do this, gotta do that. Whether you're a parent or a partner, or you just got your own to-do list, You know, this is that time of year where everything's going really, really quick, really, really, really fast. And I want to also invite you to consider that when we talk about healing, when we talk about restoring back to health that which has been tampered, damaged, violated. I want to use these words very carefully, and I want to go very slowly, because in order for us to be at a place of readiness for our healing, it first starts with us admitting that there is room and need for restoration. There is a past and a previous hurt that has caused some discomfort, that has caused some misalignment somewhere along our paths, that now the distress of it all may be continuing to rise in such a way that we're not really enjoying and living our best life, but we're really just settling. So when we talk about embracing healing and our wholeness, I must admit, I love to consider definitions, and so wholeness was one of those words that I wanted to look up, in the state of forming a complete and harmonious whole, meaning not divided. And why is that so important for us to pursue our wholeness? Going back to what we named earlier, because as human beings, we are actually made up of mind, body, soul. Or we can say it another way, is that we are made of intellectual intelligence, which is our mental capacity for just reasoning, right? Our analytical reasoning, planning, problem solving. That's what we worked on in school, those 12 years of school. The second part is we have our emotional intelligence. And that's our ability to recognize and to manage our own emotions, right? So how are you with self-regulating? How are you with self-motivation? With empathy? Are you able to understand other people and their emotions, or what we call in the clinical world, their emotional location and where they're coming from? Right? And so in that third piece is our body intelligence. And this is where we become aware of, what am I feeling in my body? This also includes our self-care. How are we, keeping up our physical well-being? But it's also important to recognize that our physical is actually very much connected to our emotions. So everything that we have experienced when it comes to emotional distress or emotional trauma, as we named earlier, all of those scores actually live in our body. So all of any assault, any rejection, any depression, anxiety, literally even daily stress lives in our body. And it can show up in ways that maybe have been very familiar to us, right? Like, yeah, I do notice that I do have a lot of back pain, or yeah, I just have tight shoulders. That's just, it runs in my family. We begin to kind of adopt and embrace these kind of maladies that literally were created from the root of trauma. And so, from a mental health perspective, I really just wanted to come and not only shine a light on that, but also support us as we consciously unravel ourselves out of that trauma loop and usher ourselves into our healing season, right? So, whether it's muscle tension, whether it's a feeling of heaviness, right? Um, a lump in your throat, tightness or queasiness in the stomach, teeth grinding, um, irritable bowel syndrome, fibromyalgia. These are all just examples of how trauma can show up in the body and present itself in our everyday life. So one of the things that I really enjoy doing with clients is to really, you know, guide us into some practices that could be helpful for not just identifying what's coming up in our body, but also opening that door so that we can get curious on what is on the other side of that bodily sensation, right? So there's something called progressive muscle relaxation. And this is literally the process of where a lot of times we'll do a body scan, right? It's kind of from a head to toe type of body scan and noticing any areas in our body that we may be carrying tension. So, for example, even as you're listening to me now, you're probably, sitting with your own body, and I encourage you to do that, right? Just kind of where you are, just kind of, if it feels comfortable, close your eyes and just kind of see, is there any tension anywhere in your body? If you start from the top of your head and you allow yourself to kind of just scan down very slowly, notice your neck, notice your shoulders, notice your back, notice your hips, notice your legs, on down to your feet. If you notice any area of tension anywhere in your body, what we would typically do next is, and I use this example because it gets my clients laughing, but it also is a great way to kind of illustrate to you what this practice looks like. So I want you to think about, let's just say the tension was in my backside. So I want you just to imagine if squeezing your backside, or squeezing your bum, making it tight, and then holding it for a couple of seconds and then just releasing. What this does is it allows us to really, bring support or bring focus to that area of tension, right? We're just adding some support, so if the shoulder is saying, hey, I'm tense, I'm crying out for some added support, we're just going to go ahead and just, all right, great. We're going to add support by creating more tension. And it's always really helpful to, in anything that we do, guide our practices with our breath, right? Um, so I want to encourage you. I mean, that's something very simple practice that we can do. Like if we're, driving around stuck in traffic, or we're maybe at the office, or maybe it's been a stressful day at home, whatever the situation may be, find in your body where you're holding that tension and just create more tension. And then invite your breath to just allow it to release. That is actually giving your central nervous system, your autonomic nervous system, the opportunity to rest and decompress. So a couple more things that, are always helpful when we talk about somatics is, we have trauma-informed yoga is also a great idea for those who are interested in wanting to move their body while also connecting with their emotions and, you know, kind of what we would say addressing those previous trauma triggers. We also have, like we talked about earlier, the body scans, deep breathing, and then meditation is always a very helpful tool that we are able to utilize when getting in contact with what is coming up in my sensory. So when we talk about somatics and sensory, those go hand in hand, right? So the somatics is literally our physical intelligence. But what you're feeling, the ing, the tingling, the tensing, the buzzing, the tickling, the vibrating, right? The ing of what you're feeling, that's the sensory, right? That's your nerves kind of just like speaking to you. So I just want to invite you. I have a few minutes left, but I always like to, lead us in a deep breath exercise if you all are willing. And just wherever you are, I just want to encourage you to use your hands. And if it feels comfortable for you, place one hand on your heart. And your second hand you can place on your belly. Right? And nothing to do. I just want to invite you, if it feels comfortable, to close your eyes and allow yourself to settle into your breath. With your one hand, I want you to honor and just recognize the rise and fall of your chest. Each time you breathe in and breathe out. Allowing your belly to be soft to the touch. And if you feel like your mind is just kind of wandering and going all, kind of nonstop, that's okay. Nothing to control, nothing to try to correct. Just a very simple practice is breathing in. I notice I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I notice I'm breathing. Breathing in. I notice I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I notice I'm breathing. Now, as simple as that may seem, I gotta tell you, your body is thanking you. And I want to also leave you with this. Because your healing has options, I too want to encourage you to define, what does healing look like for you? What do you see yourself to be in your healed form? Who do you see yourself to be in your healed expression of you? As you sit with that, I want to encourage you to spend some time with journaling your vision for yourself. manifesting your reality on what your healed version of yourself looks like. And as always, if you are in need of support from a mental health professional, I encourage you to please connect with resources in your area. I'm sure Dee Dee also and her team could probably provide resources as well. But just want to say, I hope this was helpful and impactful. And just again, thank you again for the opportunity to be here. And without further ado, I do wish you well on your healing journey. Peace and blessings.
Winter's for lovers. So tell me what summer's for. Dying and trying to stay alive while teaching your youngest to duck and roll. The tucking and jucking with toe to toe. Cause we losing niggas who never lost. And we stay scheming in God we trust. While Jesus just wanting a simple yes. And mama still pray that her child is dip. But that chip on her shoulder won't never let up. A couple of flavors indulging my layers by flicking and asking me who's my tailor. You love me a lot, but I love you later. Her heaven's redemption, don't spare the waiting. So if you got time, we can burn or leave. Hit the parking lot and you can percolate it. Don't you miss it? Say what? Don't you miss it? Yeah. Don't you miss the days when your only cares is stressing was your grandma yelling? Better close my door, you letting flies in. Fly. Better close my door, you letting flies in this bitch, man. Better close my door, you letting flies in. Fly. Better close my door, you letting flies in this bitch. Falling in love ain't for everybody, but no everybody need to love somebody. My little cousin in heaven party when he breathed his last, was he glad he saw me? Holding his hand like some toddlers walking. Holding back tears when my auntie lost it. Holding back years cause he took the fame and the change of things as I never love him. A time surely tell when it's tickling doesn't let you roll your wrist with the missing button. My little shorty a glizzy guzzler, yeah she thinking buns and she get it bustin'. She taught me selling was mediocre so I race the ball when I give her loving. I got some secrets I tell nobody cause no everybody can't be real and trusted. Don't you miss it? Say what? Don't you miss it? Yeah. Don't you miss the days when your only cares is stressing was your grandma yelling? Better close my door, you letting flies in. Fly. Better close my door, you letting flies in this bitch, man. Better close my door, you letting flies in. Fly. Better close my door, you letting flies in this bitch.
Well, where is my grandson? I'm returning your call. Give me a call when you get a chance. I'm not gonna have nobody in my house for Thanksgiving. I'm just scared of this virus, and it's got worse up here. So we'll set it off for a later date. Grandma cook you some good home, good food. Love you. Talk to you later.
So what you all just heard was 2 a.m. Ricky, who is the artist, one of the artists that was involved. For those of you that were here earlier, 2 a.m. Ricky had introduced himself and said a little bit about himself. And that was a song that's called Laura. A really, really good song, really, really interesting. And as 2 a.m. Ricky had said earlier, that he wanted to do more work and shine more light on mental health from a transmasculine perspective. And so it's really, really interesting because the reason why I wanted to hear this song specifically was because I remember when the only thing that I had to worry about was my grandmother telling me to close the door, close the screen door, because I was letting flies in her house. And so it resonated with me. Um, because I didn't have my grandmother as long as I wish that I would have. Uh, and so I sit with this reality of like that was one of the most joyous moments was her yelling at me or us to close the door because we was letting flies in her house as well as letting the air out of her house. Anyway, thank you again for that 2 a.m. Ricky. Thank you again to DeKhari. Thank you again to Trinity. Each one of you are absolutely amazing. And I hope that each of you all and all of you all are enjoying yourselves as we are doing this and creating this space and holding this space again for you. So I told you all earlier that we were going to do some practices. And so my hope is that you all have your water. If you have a bottle of water and a cup, that'll be great. If not, you don't even have to worry about pouring. I got you. But if you do, it helps out with this. It helps out with this practice. Also, if you can go and grab your candle, that would be greatly appreciated. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this, and we ain't got that much time, y'all, so I guess I gotta speed this up, huh? All right. So as you all heard earlier from DeKhari, one of the things that he was talking about is how it is that we connect with the body and how we hold so much inside of our body, right? So again, when we talk about this I am, right? This I am, and how are we going on our healing journey? And what does that even look like? Sometimes we have to start within the I am, right? And that's within the body. So I wanted to make sure that we can be reminded of how much we hold within our body, right? So what we're going to get ready to do is that we want to light a candle. And there's two reasons for this. One of the reasons why we light this candle is because often many of us light candles far too often, right? Just because we want to smell the fragrance, or just because we want to see the flame dance as it is inside of the candle, inside of the glass. And so I also encourage us that when we get ready to light candles, that we do it from a different place, from a place of intentions, with good intentions. And that when we light these candles, that we light the candle from the mindset of that it's an opportunity to reignite our flames. Now, remember that just because we're lighting this candle doesn't mean that anything changes everywhere else. It's all about us. It's all about self. It's all about me. I light this candle and I invite you to light your candle. And if you don't have a candle right now, that is fine. Don't even worry about it, because later on, when you do get to a candle, you can do this very same thing. But light the candle with the mindset or with the intentions that I am reigniting my flame. You know, sometimes we find ourselves in predicaments or in situations where people feel like they can just use their breath, use their words. Certain things that are going on in life can literally just come and blow out our flame. But I want to remind you of the power in which you have, just as the individual you. You are so amazing that literally with a lighter and a candle, you can remind yourself of how amazing you are by reigniting your flame. On this candle, there are 3 wicks. I will light these 3 wicks with myself in mind. All I'm doing is lighting a candle, something that I would do any other time, just for me to be able to smell the fragrance or to honor the loss of someone, honor some moment. But I ask that right now, that as you light your candle, you light it with you in mind to reignite your flame, to know that whenever the air comes and it blows out your flame, that you still have the ability and the power and the right to light your flame, to reignite your flame. You deserve it. See, so many people think that they can blow your candle out. But see, what you have to be reminded of is that you are in control of your candle, baby. You got this. You have all that you need. And even when you don't have a candle, sometimes you just have to stop and reignite your flame. Remember when I talked about that light switch? All we want to do is just flick it back on. It is absolutely okay to turn it off. But see, it's okay for you to turn that light off. And it's also okay for you to know that you have the ability to flip it right back on. So just know that the next time you go to a candle, connect with your breath and reignite your flame, because you deserve it. Everything else that is going on out there in the world will try to tear you down, but you deserve to know that your flame should be able to be lit and live on. Take your candle and put your candle somewhere that you can see it, because this candle will be used again. Keep it lit. For those of us who have water, I spoke earlier in reference to the fact that sometimes we pour into everybody. We pour into everybody. We give all of ourselves to everybody. We make sure that we can be available and accessible to everybody. We pour out to the point to where our cup no longer runneth over. Our cup is on E. Our cup is on empty. And see, a part of the problem with that is that we still try to continue to pour from an empty cup, and it just doesn't work. At some point, that cup is going to become so dry and you're going to find yourself dehydrated. And how can you help someone whenever you need all of the help that is needed for you? But see, sometimes we don't even have to lean to someone else to pour into us. Again, this is something that you can do, that you will do. Listen, I do it this way because I want to make sure. I want to make sure that each and every time that I stop and I decide that it's time for me to quench my thirst, for me to pour into my cup, I do it in a way that makes sense. Yes, I can drink it straight out the bottle. But guess what? I want to make sure that I remind myself that I know that my cup is running empty. I know this. So I'm going to pour into myself. I'm going to intentionally take this cup and I'm going to fill it with something that's going to quench my thirst, that is specifically for me. Nobody else can occupy this moment. Nothing else takes place in this moment. I am taking my water that is specifically for me, that is intended for me, because I'm thirsty. I need it. I'm exhausted. No one else is doing it for me. All of these things that is going on in the world are still happening, but right now I want to stop. I want to intentionally I want to intentionally, I want to intentionally quench my thirst. My thirst is not just because I am dehydrated from not drinking water. My thirst is because I'm thirsty for love. I'm thirsty to regain some type of a trust from the hurt in which I've endured. I am thirsty. I am thirsty. And in this moment, I can quench my thirst. I invite you to pour into your cup. I invite you to pour into your cup. And once you have poured into your cup, and it is now time for you to drink what is in your cup. If this is in the morning and this is your coffee, I want for you to pour your coffee and I want you to just stop everything. If you have the moment to do it, whether or not you're on the bus, whether or not you're en route somewhere, that when you stop to take this drink, that you take this drink with you and only you in mind. How can I quench my thirst? You see, you can pour into yourself. You can pour into yourself. You can pour into yourself. And this don't need nobody else. This needs no one else. As I drink this water, I can feel my insides getting cooler. I can feel my body saying, thank you. I can feel my breath as I'm breathing a little bit easier because I am pouring into me. Everybody else will be okay. Everything that's going on will still go on. But right now, as you drink from your cup with the reminder and the intention that I am giving back to me. I don't need nobody else to give back to me the way that I'm going to give back to me. You know what? This is my little gift that I'm going to give to myself, because I don't have to wait for nobody else. This is something that I'm going to do that you will do each and every day, is drink. When you drink, just take 1 second to be able to let yourself know that this cup of water, whatever it is that you may be drinking, is something that is for you. And that the entire time that you are drinking this, in this moment, even if you go and run to the refrigerator, you pour your cup and you drink it quickly, drink it knowing that you are pouring into yourself. Drink it with the intentions that I want to do something for me and only me, that I don't have to worry about how can I help you over there or what's going on over here. I can quench my thirst. Now, as you continue to drink and quench your thirst, making sure that you're doing this with the mindset of that all of this is for me. All of this is for me. You see, you breathe. You breathe and you don't have to be told to breathe. See, we drink water, and a lot of times at one point in time, we were told that we needed to drink more water. But now that for many of us as grown-ups and adults, or as just as people, period, we drink and we drink because it's what we need to do. But instead of doing it with just, oh, let me just get some water. Baby, whenever you're going through something, stop and take a second and say, you know what, let me quench my thirst. Let me pour into my cup. Let me refill my vessel. See, when we talk about healing has options, this is one of the options. See, it doesn't have to be anything miraculous. It doesn't have to be anything just way out there and so studied and just so specific. It just has to be for you and with you in mind. Everything else will follow with you in mind. Remember, we lit those candles in a way and with the mindset of reigniting our flame. You see, this candle can also be used as we meditate. You see, a lot of people, they question what is meditation, and they look at it from many different ways. And all of those ways are fair and valid to whomever they may be fair and valid to. What I invite for you to do is that when we meditate, that we look at it as just a moment in time for us. Well, nothing else matters but me, but you, but the individual that is doing it. And see, DeKhari said it earlier that as you're breathing sometimes, and even as you close your eyes and you try to go into that space, into that place, that sometimes you cannot, your brain will start to do things and it will start to think about what's going on. It will come up with triggers. It will come up with things to distract you. And guess what? Your brain is just braining, baby. It's just braining. It's just doing what the brain shall do. We also are able to use this candle. That in those moments when we meditate and everything starts to get into the way, we can just open our eyes back up and focus in on the candle. Allow the candle to grasp your attention for the moment, focus on it, and then go back into your meditation. Understanding that you don't have to meditate for hours, you can meditate for minutes. For some of us, we only meditated for seconds. Because when I started meditating, I had to do it in increments. What felt good for me? In the beginning, it was 1 minute. Then it went to 3 minutes. Then it went to 5 minutes. Hell, sometimes I'll be meditating for an hour. I have to make sure I'm not asleep because I meditate so good. Because I have to remind myself to just sit and breathe, to just sit in a space and be, to just be. So, with that in mind, as we prepare to close, I ask that you do this with me. And this is from a meditation practice from an amazing individual, Thich Nhat Hanh, who reminds us of different ways to meditate and different ways to look at things. And in this practice, I want us to do this as a breathing and meditating practice. And for some of us, we deal with anxiety. For some of us, we deal with this reality. And for some of us, we deal with things that for some are unthinkable. I invite you that the next time you may be going through anything, that if you take nothing away from this, that you at least can take this with you. So for those of you that would like to, or if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, I invite you to close your eyes. And for those of you that are keeping your eyes open, keep looking right at me or whatever you see before you. As you take in a breath, as you inhale, I say that as you inhale, once you've inhaled, say the words of, I have arrived. I have arrived. And as you exhale, say, I am home. I am home. I have arrived. I am home. Continue to do that. I have arrived. The I am. Wherever you are in this right now moment, I want you to know that as we talk about this journey of healing, and knowing that healing has options, that you have arrived, that all of the things that may be going on will continue to go on. But most importantly, as you inhaled, as you took that breath in, as you gifted yourself a breath, I have arrived and I am home. I have arrived. You have arrived. This may be the new beginning of your journey in healing. And I hope that I can be one of the first people that can say welcome, that can say welcome, that can say welcome, because you have arrived. You have arrived and you are home. So continue to breathe. Continue to pour in yourself. Continue to close your eyes and just meditate and be. Because you, of all people, you deserve it. You deserve to know that healing has options. And all of those options are limitless. Whether or not it's sitting outside looking at the trees and as the birds fly by, reminding yourself that that tree that is there was planted and grew and sprouted out branches that had leaves specifically for you, so that those leaves can help to cleanse the air in which you breathe. Sometimes we may sit outside and look at the birds as they fly by. Just the other day, I was sitting outside and I saw two bald eagles fly by. It reminded me that I have the option and that the opportunity will present itself for me to spread my wings and soar. There was no need to fly. There was the opportunity and the option to soar. Healing has options, and they don't all look the same. Connect with your body if you're not already connected. Allow your body to tell you when something feels good. And those things that feel good, acknowledge them. Know that you can use them as options in your journey of healing. I don't know how many times I can say it. You deserve it. You deserve it. I deserve it. I again appreciate you all so much for being here with us. I know that some of these practices may not have been the perfect practice for you, and that is absolutely okay. I just wanted to to tickle your brain a little bit or massage your heart in a way that can remind you that you are the most amazing being that is out there and that you deserve to heal. And know that healing has options and they totally look different. So my name again is Dee Dee Watters. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Uh, this event is called The Gathering. This is one of the first virtual events we will be doing in-person events all around the country. They will be camping retreats. For those of you that would like to get on our email list to know when we're coming where and what that's going to look like, please send an email to I'm ddwatters@gmail.com. It will be put in the comments so that way you all can access it easier. We will start doing those coming up in the summer since it will be camping and we will be outside. Again, to you all, I just want to say thank you because you could have been anywhere else, but you cared enough about yourself to be in this space. That's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. At any rate, let me make sure I finish what it is that I was supposed to finish. I also want to make sure that I give thanks again to the artist that joined me on tonight, which is 2 a.m. Ricky, as well as Trinity Sapphire. I believe that they have their Instagram and stuff in the chat or in the comments. I will ask Trinity if you can come off of mute if you're still with us and let us know or let the people know if there's anything that you have coming up that they can attend or what's the best way to find and or follow you.
Yes, that's fine. Um, so my features, just catch me. I do have content that will be dropping in a couple of weeks, so I am so excited about that. And I do have a project that I will be promoting soon, called Aesthetics. So just be on the lookout for that. Follow me on Instagram at I am Trinity Sapphire. That's I_am_ Trinity Sapphire.
Thank you so much, Trinity. And it will be put in the comment section for those of you that would like to follow. I really appreciate you for being here, Trinity. Thank you so much. 2 a.m. Ricky, do you have anything?
Yeah, this has been an amazing event. Thank you to you all for having me, and thank you to everybody who tuned in and, like you said, took time to care for themselves, because that's definitely very important. So make sure you all follow me on social medias at #2 AMRICKY. Make sure that y'all go get my latest album. It's called Listen If You're Lonely. You can listen to it on literally every streaming platform. Yeah, make sure you stream it. Make sure you follow me on all social channels. I recently released a video for my single Cream. Y'all heard Dee Dee mention the Grammys. My single Cream was actually up for Grammy consideration for Best Melodic Rap Performance. So y'all make sure y'all go support that and check that out. And yeah, this has been amazing. I'm so looking forward to the next one that you all do.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much, 2 a.m. Ricky, for showing up. DeKhari has stepped out. DeKhari will also be with me whenever we're doing our in-person retreats, our camping retreats. So that will definitely be a gift. My goal is to also figure out ways to continue to work with folks like Trinity as well as 2A and Ricky. I also want to make sure that I give my appreciation to Forge for having us on tonight, for being able to make a space like this available. Because at the end of the day, not many people think that spaces like this are important. And so for those of you that showed up, it really, really means a lot to me. And I hope that it meant a lot to you for being here. So to all of those of you who have commented, who have stayed this entire time, even to those who came and had to leave out, I really, really appreciate it. And again, please remember to go easy on you. There's a song that Adele sings. And I just really want for us to look at that song. And when we hear that song, don't hear it from the perspective of anyone else. Hear it from the song talking to you, telling you to go easy on you. You deserve to go easy on you. The world and everybody else will come at you and will be the toughest on you. So this is just a reminder also to go easy on you. I almost hit the song, but I ain't Adele, so I ain't gonna mess that up for y'all. Thank you all so very much. I'm going to turn it back over to the folks over at Forge, so that way they can do the closing again. Thank you so much to all of you all who have shown up. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dee Dee. This was really beautiful and unexpected. I didn't know where we were going to go tonight, and you are always full of surprises. So thank you for brightening up everybody's rooms tonight and filling us all with some water, some air, some touch, and all of the things that hopefully we all felt. And we will continue to do the rest of tonight and tomorrow and the next day. And we will hope to remind folks by posting this video online so that people can go back and watch it, or watch part of it, or share it with your friends, so that you all can consume and take in all that Dee Dee had to offer, and DeKhari and 2A and Ricky and Trinity. So thank you all for being part of tonight. And Dee Dee, you said not everybody makes spaces like this. I mean, these are the essential spaces. These are the spaces that Forge wants to create, and wants to create with all of you. So bring it more. And Dee Dee, we can talk about more too. So thank you. Just a reminder to folks that we are, it has been recorded. We'll post it online. We will send out a follow-up email that has everybody's contact information, everybody that presented's contact information, so you can follow them on social media. You can download their albums. You can do all of those good things. And I hope that tonight you breathe some good air, drink some good water, have some touch, whether it's your own touch or someone else's, and that you feel the love that is in this space right now. So thank you very much, Dee Dee. Thank you to our ASL folks. And thanks again, Trinity and DeKhari, and 2A and Ricky. Thank you.
Winter's for lovers. So tell me what summer's for. Dying and trying to stay alive while teaching your youngest to duck and roll. The tucking and jucking with toe to toe. Cause we losing niggas who never lost. And we say scheming in God we trust. While Jesus just wanting a simple yes. And mama still pray that her child is dip. But that chip on her shoulder won't never let up. A couple of flavors indulging my layers while flicking and asking me who's my tailor. You love me a lot, but I love you later.